pour it on me. I'm so rory.
Welcome to Flim Flam Films. Like always, I'm Stephen Mommy, and joining me today,
Zane Gray Wilson.
Zane Gray Wilson. Yes, exactly. Zane, I know you love this film. I like this film.
I wouldn't say
Now,
we'll get to that later.
He doesn't love it. He was whatever. I don't know. Always add the long pauses to help edit, you know?
Okay.
And Zane, as they're probably wondering if they haven't read the title or anything, what film are we going over today?
We are going over Team America, World Police, which was released in 2004. It was directed by Trey Parker, written by Pam Brady, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone, and produced by Scott Rudin, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone, starring Kristen Miller as Lisa John, Masaso Moyo, I apologize if I mispronounced that,
You nailed
playing
it.
Sarah Wong, Darren Norris as Spotswood, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone in various roles, including Gary, Joe, Carson, and Chris. So, Steve,
Nice.
what were your first impressions?
Whoa, hang on. We got to get a quick summary of Team America, World Police.
So, Team America is a great story about Team America. Who
America!
are a team of very patriotic Americans that get together and go out on missions around the world to help make it safer and fill it with more freedom. And
Killing terrorists.
in the movie, they get a new recruit, and Gary Johnston, who's an actor, and they need his certain set of skills to help with a mission.
Which is acting.
Yeah. So yeah, Steven, what did you think? Well, what did you know about this film before I suggested it?
Before you suggested it, I think I've seen like scenes and snippets of the film a long time ago. I don't think I ever watched a full movie beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did know is it was great. And
Well, I'm also assuming that you knew the song,
Oh.
the Team America song.
everybody knows the
Everyone
song.
knows that song.
America. Hang on, before we finish this song, this is a quote, so
Yeah, we have to specify.
we have to specify it's a quote. I know some of our listeners get confused on it, but we gotta specify. So Zane, do you want to sing a little bit of the song? America, fuck yeah.
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah, that's everybody knows that line, and this is where it's from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how did you enjoy the movie?
Zane, I enjoyed this movie. I think you honestly enjoyed it a little bit more than I did. Now, part of it was because I had to do other schoolwork, so I missed like a couple
A quick side note:
little stuff.
Steven likes to do many other things while watching movies, so sometimes he misses little parts.
I'm a great multitasker, Zane.
You missed,
I
like,
only
3
made you
things that I
go
didn't
back.
show you today. Because you were like,
3
'cause I was
times.
laughing, and then you were like, "Wait, what happened?" I had to
Only
rewind.
like 2 things. It was only 2 things.
Okay, but anyway,
Only one of them was important too. The other one was like a little Easter egg kind of thing. That was
That
just
wasn't
like a
even
little
Easter egg.
Well, not an Easter egg, but it was just a little funny side thing that wasn't even important.
oh, it was important to me.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, but it's not important to the film as a whole. Yeah, but I think you enjoyed it more. I know last episode we were talking about. You asked me what I thought was the funniest film we went over.
Obviously.
Kung Pao, obviously so far, but actually this film to me, out of all the ones that I've watched with you so far, this is the film that I've seen you laugh the most at.
Really?
Yes. Also, we haven't watched Kung Pao in a while together, but this film for this year, you definitely laughed the most at, especially like from the beginning all the way to the end. You were chuckling. So.
Yeah, but what did you like about it?
I loved the characters.
Okay, nice statement that you use for
Everything.
every movie we talked about.
Yeah, but they all have great characters. I love the main characters. My favorite thing, or thing I think the film does what the most recognizable and probably the best, is definitely the soundtrack. All the songs from Kim Jong-il to Team America, fast pace and slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
The AIDS song,
At the very
good
beginning.
opener.
Yeah,
Everyone has AIDS.
Did you notice what they were referencing?
I think AIDS.
No. So at the beginning, the name of the musical is Lease, and it's in a certain font. Have you ever heard of the musical Rent?
No.
Okay, well, it's a famous musical that it's about a bunch of people in New York just trying to make rent or whatever. And there are a couple of characters in there there are many characters that deal with like AIDS and stuff like that. So that's what they were making fun of.
Interesting.
Context. Huh?
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's still a good song though.
Yeah. Keep going though.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the soundtrack of the whole film because not only was it was funny, but also it just brought the whole movie, I think, together.
Okay.
The movie wouldn't have been nearly as good without those songs.
So you like the soundtrack and the characters. Anything else?
Even though they're all puppets, I think it was choreographed flawlessly.
Yeah, it's the puppets are great.
Flawlessly, from the fight scenes between the Team America mixed martial artists fighting Samuel L. Jackson
Yeah,
to
his name's Chris.
Chris, thank you. To the sex scenes. I think it was all choreographed flawlessly. What about you, Zane, though? What do you think the film did well?
Well, I think it did well. Well, I'll just talk about what I enjoyed mostly. So, I love that this film uses puppets as its way of storytelling everything. Because I can't think of, I haven't seen any other movie that is solely puppets. I mean, I assume everyone's seen Pinocchio, but that's like animated and it's about a puppet. But for me,
you said solely.
Huh?
You said solely puppets, or just you haven't seen a movie with puppets?
I said this is the only movie I've seen that it's just like
oh,
about
okay.
puppets.
I was about to say
they're not about puppets, but they use puppets.
I feel like you've seen one of the Muppets, but then you said
I've never seen any Muppets.
You've never seen any of the Muppets?
No, I don't really like Muppets.
You guys can't see this, but I'm looking
he
at
just gave me
Zane.
a death glare. But anyway,
like a very serious look.
But because they're puppets and as Steven pointed out, the choreographing and the fight scenes are hilarious. But my favorite thing about it is just when they walk, because the way they walk and the way some of the background characters walk in and off screen, it just looks like a video game to me. How static it is, and it just made it funnier. And especially there's one scene in here where the main character Gary Johnson and Lisa have a lovemaking scene.
They make intercourse.
And it is the best sex scene in any movie ever. Because it's just puppets. They don't have any genitalia, so they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, even though that this film is rated R, but the sex scene isn't really an R-rated film.
Yeah, it's just like if you had two dolls and you just like kind of mashed them together. Yeah.
Almost like a fight.
Yeah, I guess it looks similar to when the puppets are fighting.
It is greatly good. Very good choreographed.
One thing that definitely stood out to me while we were watching the film was it never seemed offensive to me at all. And I remember when this film came out, a lot of people were getting big hoopla over it. And they were like,
you know why?
This film is terrible. It's South Park guys and blah blah blah.
Because
I think
the Actors Guild, everybody in the acting guild, called fags.
Yeah. But I think it's just because more people now, a lot of people are so jaded with current culture and just everything that's going on. Is this movie is nothing now. Actually, I feel like if this came out, people would be outraged over it even more. Actually, especially with the PC culture.
Oh yes.
The way it is today. People would have a day with this.
Well, I think also the fact you remember when the interview was starting to come out?
Yeah.
And they were the whole big thing about Kim Jong Un. Yeah. And they were flipping out because they have a guy that looks like him, but in this film they had a puppet, and I was like, imagine if they actually did this nowadays.
Well, actually, when this did come out, I read this a little bit ago. It was banned obviously in South Korea, and I also think Czech Republic it was banned. And I don't know. I didn't read anything else. I don't know if North Korea also got upset about the film, but they probably did.
But I mean, he had the best song though, in my opinion.
Yes, we know. So, other things I liked about the film. Let's see. There are a couple montages in here. There's There's an inquisitive montage of soul searching. There's a sad montage, and then there's a traditional like training, getting pumped up montage, which has a great song. And I think that's my favorite song is the montage song. And
Oh, we want to talk about literally a montage.
Is this a montage? Montage. But
Yeah.
the very first one where Gary is trying to decide whether he wants to join Team America or not,
Yes,
and he goes around Washington D.C.
Okay,
looking at all the monuments.
what's really cool about that whole montage is the fact that they actually made Gary a bigger puppet, because it's like,
No, it was the same size. It was the same puppet.
oh, well, then I guess all the sets were pretty big, because they didn't do green screen or anything for that. That's full DC.
The puppets are bigger than what you think they'd be, because I mean, obviously, they had like the eyelids could close and they had tiny like
that's fair.
I don't know how it works, but like I guess motors or some kind of animatronic in the mouth to make them move, So they have to be a little bigger,
But yeah, the whole thing of him actually being in DC and I guess him like logging off.
Oh yeah, I don't know why because
it's also
scenes,
Go ahead.
Because just the scenes of this puppet that's just standing there looking at all these monuments, like looking at them like, man, what does it mean to be American? Blah blah whatever. And also, I don't know why I'm assuming they did this intentionally, but that first montage when he's in DC, the camera, the quality of the film looks
it's
really bad.
Yeah, it's very low.
It looks like it was captured on my Handycam.
Yeah,
which isn't a bad thing. I think it to me it like adds to the scene.
Makes it funnier, almost.
Oh, yeah.
More realistic, I feel like. Maybe they were just like, no, this is definitely real footage, so we'll just make it real life.
Oh, I would have loved to see like other people like watching them record this. They're like, why do they have all these cameras and they're looking at this?
One.
And actually, this might surprise you a bit, but when I was watching the film, I didn't actually like it that much. And
this time or just
anytime? Well, this is the first time I've seen it.
Oh.
Yeah, as well.
I didn't know
I've
that.
seen clips online and I know the song, but not that I disliked like the whole thing or like my overall opinion was negative.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so it's kind of like middle of the road, and I don't know why. I think going to the movie, I expected
to be funnier.
Not funnier, I expected more jokes.
More jokes.
There was more downtime, I guess.
But
I would
think.
say. But after we watched it and we went to class, I was like, it was okay. But as the day has gone on and I've been thinking about it, it was a very quick turnaround. I start to I like it more, but I'm still thinking about it.
Well, see, I think the downtime that you were talking about, I think a lot of it on those scenes, they did more like funnier things behind the scenes, or it was just slower pace for visual gags. Like when they're like in one of the gunfights or whatnot, it's not really funny or hilarious until boom, one of the dolls' heads explodes. Like that's or when they're doing like the chase. One of the chasing, at the beginning when first Gary is dressed up as a terrorist. I think like the whole time Gary is dressed up as a terrorist. Terrorist. Is a whole gag in itself because, like, just Durka. So the way they make Gary seem like a terrorist, they literally just paint his face a little darker.
Well, they paint it brown, and then it's not even that. It's kind of patchy. They missed a few spots, and then they glue it. It looks like pubic hair all over his face.
Yeah. And he just walks around. They don't switch any of. Okay, guys, we just had some technical difficulties. Adobe Audition, just casually crashed on us. So if we seem a little, misplaced, that's why. I think we were just talking about how Gary has this sweet disguise, and he just goes in with all these terrorists and fools them with just pubic hair and a towel on his head because he's such a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, they can't believe that Team America can't believe how good of an actor he is and how he's pulling all this off.
Yeah, but I think you were saying you thought it was going to be more offensive. I think earlier, and I think why people thought it was so offensive was how they did all the language for it. Not like, them saying like fuck or asshole or anything like that, but by the way they did all the foreign languages. Because like, you know, the Koreans were just like ching ching chong, and then like the terrorists were more like dark dark. Even though
Muhammad Jihad.
yeah, and then I think they say Allah in one part, and then everybody in France was like oui.
Yeah, I like how you did even worse one because you just said "we" a bunch of times.
I know, because that's basically what they did though throughout the whole film. Mm-hmm. So I think but that, and then the only other thing that I could see what they thought would be offensive, but I don't see really super offensive, is when they make fun of the Field Acting Guild, and every one of their every time that one of their names pops up, so like Alec Baldwin, it puts the abbreviation of the guild and it just spells out fag, so it goes Alec Baldwin fag, Matt Damon fag, So other than that, I agree. I don't think the movie was nearly as offensive.
But also like standards today are different.
Yeah.
Or like,
I think our standards are different. You mean aren't offended by a lot? I would say
most normal people are more jaded, but there's always going to be that vocal minority that like PC people that get extremely outraged.
My feelings.
Yeah.
You know what we are, Zane, when it comes to our feelings? We're so lonely.
Romery? I don't think yeah. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, you were saying how you thought it was just more slow paced. Mm-hmm. You thought that there would be more jokes. I think they relied heavily on some of the gags or like behind the scenes kind of jokes. So like some of the photos up, or like during the action scenes, the dolls' heads popping off. Mm-hmm. But I thought the jokes set a good pace from right at the beginning, when literally it's a puppet playing with another puppet.
Yeah, I know.
That honestly might be one of my favorite jokes of the whole thing, but I think the film did really good in that aspect.
Yeah. Also, I love the how like on the nose it is about, we're Team America. We like to come into other countries and just mess things up, and then try and help everyone.
Yeah, they blow up the
every police
Eiffel
Tower,
they
blow up everything.
The pyramids is just casual.
Yeah. And actually, thinking back on it, when I said I still have mixed feelings about it, there were a lot of specific like little moments that stand out to me that I just love.
Oh yeah, like I know you were telling me about. This is one of the scenes that we had to go back and watch. With the actual, it's during my favorite song of the movie.
Yes, when Kim Jong-il is talking about, he's singing about how lonely he is.
Yeah, how lonely he is, and there's a scene in it. Well, I'll let Zane describe it because this is one of his favorite things.
There's just a quick shot of him like coming down some stairs, and there's a huge statue of himself to the right,
so lonely.
And it's just an actual person that they just painted to look like a statue. He's just standing there. You can see him blink.
He's blinking and he shakes a little bit. I didn't notice the first time watching it. Zane had to show me specifically where it was, because I thought he was just talking about the human picture of Kim Jong-un in the background. Oh, Il, sorry. You were correct. Il. In the background. But no, it was a human painted as a bronze statue.
Was there anything,
good stuff.
Was there anything about the film that you didn't enjoy?
Long pause. I got to think, Zane. That's what's bad when I don't have a lot of negative things to say. Chirp. No, I don't think there was anything. I mean, maybe, but off the top of my head, no.
Oh, really? Usually have at least one thing.
Yeah, usually have. I mean, because like we talked about the DC when he's the montage. Uh-huh. The first one when he's in DC.
Yeah.
And he's walking around and the camera's all bad, but I feel like they did that on purpose.
They did that on purpose.
If they didn't do it on purpose, I would say that, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did, which made that whole montage funnier. But yeah, so right now I don't have super anything because they even kept, you know how me, I like to keep continuity throughout the film. Ah, that's one scene that we watched. One of the fight scenes. There was five people, and they
Yeah, there were
own
5 actors from the Film Actors Guild, and they only
five.
killed 4 of them.
Yeah, because I don't know any of their names except for Samuel
Well,
Jackson.
there was Sam Jackson, and there was Helen Hunt, and
Matt
Tim
Damon.
Robbins,
And Matt Damon.
and Matt Damon.
There was one more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they burned one of them.
They burned Tim Robbins. One of them comes up behind Sam Jackson and breaks.
No, that's Matt Damon. They snap Matt Damon's neck.
Yeah.
They stab one.
They stab
The girl.
Sarah stabs Helen Hunt.
Yeah, and then
Cuts her in half.
Chris
kicks Samuel Jackson's head in half.
Yeah.
The jaw.
And then one gets caught on fire. So there was
that's Tim Robbins. Right?
Yeah.
So that's 4, and there was a
4.
5th one. I don't know what happened.
I don't remember.
This is like a minor detail.
Minor, yeah. So other than that, don't really have any negatives.
Right.
What about you?
Well, like I said earlier, for me, I think my expectations might have been too high going into it, and
That's not. I don't think that's the movie's fault.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, for me,
yeah.
Like when I was thinking about it more, like I did enjoy the movie more, but me going over my expectations, I enjoyed it less. But thinking back on it, throughout the day, I did enjoy it. And really quickly, I wanted to run down just a few quick scenes that I really liked because
we got to do.
I couldn't really pick a favorite. So first scene, toward the end when the base something happens to the base, and Gary Johnson goes back and sees Spotswood, who's like the director over it, and Spotswood's like, you let the team watch it.
Yeah. So
you need to prove to me that you are committed to this team.
So quick rule: Gary leaves the team after a little falling out, which we won't spoil the falling out. But yeah, so he comes back like Zane is saying, and I'll let you finish. I just thought we should add that he actually leaves.
At the beginning of the film, when Spotswood offers Gary to
join
Team America, he doesn't tell him it's Team America yet, and Gary just thinks he's like a Hollywood executive that's maybe going to offer him a part or a role in a big film, and so he assumes that he's like, okay, you want me to get in your car and let you finger me, or I finger you, and then I
perform all sex on you. Yeah.
And he's like, what? No. And then when he to get back on the team, Spotswood wants him to do that to him. The second thing,
because that's the first thing of trust that was presented between
them. And it takes some convincing, but he does it. He's back on the team. And then before that, Gary, is at his lowest moment. He's like just in a bar getting drunk or whatever. He goes out into the street and he throws up because he's so drunk. And you're like, okay, he threw up. And then he gets up. And then he throws up again. And he throws up again. And he throws up again. And eventually it just comes sputtering out at a very fast and alarming rate. And he passes out in a pool of vomit that like encompasses his body and more. It's a huge puddle.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Honestly, he could have drowned in the puddle of his vomit if he wasn't a puppet.
And also, just again to reiterate, I love the puppets so much in this movie. To me, it adds so much because I feel if this was just like traditionally animated, it wouldn't have been as memorable.
It wouldn't have been as funny either. The puppets really.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the puppets just really bring out a lot of the films and the scenes. Yeah.
Because I feel like if this was like animated, like 2D, this just could have been like an hour and a half long South Park special.
Well, even because like you look at when Gary gets his makeover, that wouldn't have been nearly as funny if it was just 2D animated. Not nearly, not even close, as funny as putting a doll just darkening his face and putting a towel on his head.
And I haven't seen any other of the films that Matt Stone and Trey Parker have done, but I kind of want to see them after watching this.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, my favorite scene, obviously, hands down. Well, I actually have 2. This is the whole song by Kim Jong-il. I'm so lonely.
I'm so lonely.
I love that. Love the whole thing. And my second favorite thing is whenever they talk about the 3 types of people there are in the world. So there's three types of people in this world. There's yes, thank you. Quote, there's dicks, pussies, and assholes. But we'll only say that once. We'll do everything else in cleaner version. So the dicks. What? What's a cleaner word than dick, Zane?
Penis.
Okay, sorry. The penises of the world, they don't get along with the vaginas of the world. Okay, so the vaginas want to be friends with everybody.
Yes.
And that's in the film they relate the vaginas. Oh, yeah, the vaginas. Thought I said the other one.
Also, I don't think you should explain the whole thing. People should watch it in theater.
Well, I was just gonna give
it themselves. I think that's
okay.
funny.
Well, yeah. Okay, so
just know that is a very funny metaphor.
Yes, it's a very honestly.
It's actually I think
it's a clever metaphor. I think it's a good metaphor, and I think it's a realistic metaphor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, I would have not have heard it before this film. I don't think a lot of people use it, but I think it is a valid metaphor, and I think it is very realistic.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's clever, but it's definitely a very apt metaphor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are my two favorite scenes.
All right, so how would you relate this film to a food and or experience?
Well, Zane, to me, this film is one of the most American foods I can think of. And that's a cheeseburger. Because that's the stereotypical American fat boy food is a big old cheeseburger. Maybe a Big Mac, maybe a Whopper.
How American of you.
How American of me, yeah. Because America, So that's what it reminds me of. Especially with, all the stuff blowing everything up, taking care of it, nobody liking them. That reminds me of it reminds me of a big old burger.
That's pretty good. Basically good.
Yeah, what about you, buddy?
Well, I thought about this one, and for me, I would say pork liver. Why pork liver, you ask? Well, let me tell you.
Wait, Zane.
Yeah?
Why pork liver? I will ask.
I'll tell you.
Thanks, buddy.
So, when I first went to the grocery store and picked up pork liver for the first time, I thought I was really going to like it. And then I brought it home, ate a little bit of it, swirled it around my mouth, swallowed it, tasted it with my taste buds.
I apologize for all that chomping.
And at first, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. I thought I was really going to like it, and I was like, well, I kind of like it, but I don't know.
Why did Why did you think you were automatically going to like pork liver?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So, at first I was like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. But the more I started to eat, I liked it more and more. Yeah, but I'm still not like my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I related it to pork liver because this film will be very offensive to a lot of people. But I like that kind of thing. And that relates to the pork liver because I like what some people consider to be weird foods or gross foods. Like, I like liver and gizzards and sardines in a can and oysters in a can, pickled pig's feet, that kind of thing. So that's how I relate to that.
Yeah, Zane likes, I wouldn't say fancy, but different food.
Healthy, but different food.
I didn't say it wasn't healthy. I just said different.
Yes.
So Zane, next week we are going to talk about
probably some movies I'm most excited for.
Well, before you say, yeah. I want to let everyone know we are finally doing our first animated feature film.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess technically this might be it, but it's kind
of this one doesn't count because there's a real human in it, so it doesn't count.
I mean, that doesn't really mean it. You can have
he's not animated. Nah, I'm sorry.
Animation and live action. Like, hey, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Is that live action or is that animated? It's both. I see. I got you.
Nah.
Anyway,
I don't think if it went down to like the acting guild, I don't think they would be like. I don't think they would let it be voted as an animated film. So.
Well, anyway, next week we are going to talk about all 4 Hot Wheels Acceleracers films
in one episode. So that's not one film. That's not 2 films. That's not 3 films. That's 4 films in one episode.
And I am so excited. I hope some of our listeners know what this is because I loved this when I was a kid, and I still love them now. Because you know how sometimes, well, everyone, there are movies you watch as a child, and while you watch them now, you're kind of like, it's okay, but it was good, better when I was a kid. I still love these movies so much, like unironically, and I can't wait to talk about them.
Zane, real quick, Zane thinks these movies are the best racing movies. When I mean best
I
racing
never said
movies
I think they're the best
and
racing movies.
best driving movies,
I never said that either.
you have this movie far superior than any of the Fast and Furiouses, any of the Death Races, any of just Speed Racer 6 or whatever. All of them.
Speed Racer 6.
I don't know.
The Death
probably
Race
a movie.
movies, the new ones are kind of like schlock. They're not
Oh,
bad,
The
I guess.
Mechanic.
Fast and Furious is okay.
All the Transformer movies. There's driving in it, I guess.
I don't know what bit you're trying to do right now.
I don't
It's
know.
Not working.
Saying I think you just like this movie
See,
more
you're
than
not funny.
all
Okay,
cars.
So
My feelings.
Thank
If I had
you
feelings.
for listening this week, if you did, and we both hope that you have a good and meaningful day.
Yes. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.